Today we start a steering head bearings replacement on the 92. Never had steering head bearings go bad on an XR before. I guess there's always a first time. I can feel a little grit or something in there as I turn the steering, so we're just going to go ahead and put a new set of bearings in. So I'm doing steering head bearings on the 92, and I just took the steering stem off. It's fairly easy to do, and I'm just beginning inspection. Looks like it may have come from the top. Yes, it was the top one. Part of the cage broke loose. This was exactly my thoughts on what might be wrong. So that's the top one. We're losing roller bearings as we speak. So that's what I was feeling. Okay, we're doing steering head bearings on the 1992 XR600R. I've never been really good with bearings, removing them or installing them. So I have enlisted SDA associate Greg to give me a hand. We have the old races out, and I've got the new bearings greased, and he's gone to see what he's got at home for a better driver than what we have is these tapered drivers that none of them fit. It should go down on there pretty easy. We can just kind of tap down on the top of this copper tubing. I was right in my perception. I think a little chunk of the race, little piece of the cage broke loose, and I was feeling that, having to ride up over the top of one of these rollers as I turned, and sure enough, that was it. It's another day. We're continuing on with the bearing replacement in the steering head of the 92. In order to get this done, I incorporated the help of an associate SDA member. As far as a driver, we ground down the outside of a old race so it would fit easily enough and drop into place here. We got the new seats in there. In the end, he took some chisels and hammered in from this direction and from the opposite side, and just kept hammering in like a wedge under there until it started to come up off of there. So hey, let's put this together. Okay, for some reason the book says to tighten this nut down. I suppose they want you to draw this into place. And then they want you to loosen it and tighten it again. Obviously it is to seat the bearings. So that's where I'm putting it, right there. Now they want you to put the fork tubes in. and then put the top triple tree in place. We mustn't forget to bring our braided line up here. They want you to torque this down to 85 foot-pounds of torque. I don't have a torque wrench. Never have had one. So, I guess. That's my torque wrench. Then they want you to bend this tab up. I can do that. Yeah, original owner of this 92 bought it in February, very early February 1992. Since then, we've added more XR600s to the fleet. I think I know where I want the handlebars, but until I'm actually riding, I won't have a final decision. They were approximately there. I'm going to have to take the cable out and reroute that, the compression release. Still have the stock hand guards on here from Honda. So many people would put bark busters on, but I'm still using the stock units, which I have replaced more than once, along with levers as necessary when I broke a lever or bent a lever. I don't like a bent lever. I do like my levers to come out to the end pretty close, and I like my levers to point down a little bit. We may end up having to make some adjustments to this, but I'm going to set it up arbitrarily. So I have to reroute the compression release cable. Not the end of the world, but should have kind of thought of this ahead of time. In order to do so, I'm going to have to release the cable at the other end. Darn it. Got to get some slack in the cable so I can get the end out of the lever. All because I didn't route it properly ahead of time. As I was installing things, I was busy trying to get the triple tree on there, and I didn't see that I was out of whack with this. Okay, so we're still working on it. Got some things installed here. And I find that I've got my speedometer cable interfering with my throttle cables. Throttle cables have to wrap around right close to the... Throttle cable's got to be right next to the steering head. I probably have a problem with my compression release as well. So I'll fix that up. Darn it. It's not one thing, it's another, right? These things always happen. throttle cables need to wrap right around your steering head, so this has to come outboard. Otherwise, when you turn left, you're stretching your cables out too far. Let's get a closer look at what we've been doing here. Throttle cables need to wrap right around the front here of your steering head. You can even see the old wear mark, so that when you turn left, you're not putting things on a bind. Compression release cable can go outboard of that. Well, we're getting there anyway. Got to put the front wheel on next. Okay, we're moving ahead with the reassembly, and really all that's left is put on the front wheel and do a little bit of a test ride. It's always a little bit of a struggle to get things lined up. Being a 92, it's got the 15mm axle, a wimpy thing. It's always a little bit of a struggle. Okay, well that just about does it. Now we got to get that front fender back on. There's an aftermarket disc guard that I've always had on here since the thing was new. You can see this has been protected. For a 92, it's still in good shape, but it doesn't help out with hitting rocks, and it's only plastic. I don't think it would save your disc in the first place if you hit something, but it's got a top mount here that you put together, and a bottom mount that you feed a zip tie through, and it has a screw that the original instructions had you tapping the end of your axle to fit this screw they provided, and I've seen that really nobody does that, but I did, and so I need to put it back in. If you need steering head bearings, you're going to have to go through everything we've just detailed in the video. You're going to have a friend come over and help you if you can't do it. Okay, so I just noticed I've got this exhaust valve lifter cable misrouted. It needs to go over the top and dive down through there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. You know what it's like. It's a simple procedure. Okay, I've got the bike back together. I'm thinking about a short test ride. It's an OHV, so I can't ride all over the place. But here we're going to go and try to start it, and I'll show you what a bike's like when it doesn't have very much compression. This motor has been through a lot. You can turn it right over. But it still runs real good. So let's see how that goes. This bike's fairly original, and I just found out that, watch this. Oh, the original gas line is going to need replacing. It has a split in it. So we'll do that next. Okay, there you go. It's all finished off, and it's ready for the next ride. It's got new steering head bearings. And I had to put a new gas line on it.